Morning, Biba Betnes. So I just wanted to get you on every week here. We're trying to get an update on what you got going on in the Guam Police Department. There was a story this week with those children, young children in Jotnia. What can you tell us about that, Sarge?
So really, the case proceeding is taking its course. There's a MAGI report that's been released, and of course, we want to afford the parents or the individuals responsible the rights to due process. But rest assured that in that particular circumstances, our officers were able to provide the care and needs in assessing the kids, especially the most pressing needs was really giving them an opportunity to clean themselves up and of course provide them with some meals and everything. But we want to move forward with this case. It has been forwarded to CPS. The kids are still under the care of Child Protection Services, so that's a good thing, But we continue to pray for the family, and of course, hopefully one day, the families can be reunited with the mom and dad, and hopefully, the actions that the officers took can really help them, catapult them in assuring that we're doing our part to assure the safety of the community. If it touches one life or the entire community, that's just what needs to be done.
Sarge, I know you talked with responding officers there. What were they saying about coming onto that scene?
It's a lot of majority of our officers now, the seasoned officers, we're family. We have kids and everything. So personally speaking, it's really, it's the wanting to help and the needs assessment that needed to be done. So, being whether you come in there in the police officer's mode or hearing testimony from the officers there was really, they had to do it because that was their parental duty, and of course, it's just our parental instincts that kicked in for that.
Right. What about as we've seen, kind of inching back towards whatever normal life is going to be like? We're just starting to see it. I mean, maybe this is anecdotal, but an uptick of stupid crime in the Magis. Has that been keeping you guys busy?
Our officers still continue to do their daily, aside unless of the COVID operations, with the food distribution, the quarantine sites, the test sites, and of course our patrol. And we're seeing that the irony to it is that with the COVID operation, we've actually beefed up the precinct coverage, where each the precinct has it's an operation of I believe 1, 1, and 6. From the northern to the southern end, to include our rapid response officers. So we're seeing a great deal of officers out and about, and they're really, the presence and everything that's going on, it's really making an impact on people reporting crime and, the response of the officers, to include, of course, the omnipresence that's there with the added officers on beat. So, whether we're going to engage it as an uptick or just a quicker response by the officers, I believe it's really the fact that, people are reporting the crimes because they're home. We're getting more information as people see incidents that are happening. We just had the closure of the George Washington High School break-ins. And, these are significant incidents that really led to people just reporting crime.
Sarge, we had a report that they had transported a drunk guy from one of the Guam quarantine facilities. Do you have any intel on that?
I believe that was last week, and I think they.
There was one last week. The guy who climbed out the window or whatever it was, and he was supposedly was drunk. But I'm thinking it was like overnight.
No, I didn't. We didn't get anything coming down from the stationary personnel at the quarantine site. So nothing of that actually came down towards the upper command site. Mm-hmm. But I believe last week there was an incident where one of the individuals that was in quarantine had to be taken out of the quarantine sites and actually been placed under arrest for criminal mischief and so forth. So these are things in which our officers have to respond to.
Right. Well, there's a lot of frustrated people in these quarantine facilities.
Right, but Sarge, when the officers do respond, especially to a location like a quarantine facility, I'm assuming the PPEs are all in place.
Yes, N95s, eye shields, gloves, and the protective clothing wear. So, we do have a donning and doffing station, a hot and cold zone. So, prior to COVID, our guys were post 9/11, the terror, preparing for terror attacks. So, just the line of training that we've received and donning and doffing, it's really, it's paid dividends because of, the fact that when the officer is called to take action, these are the appropriate measures in which we are, our training has prepared us for. So they're able to react. Our quick reaction team was able to react quickly and swiftly with minimal damages or minimal incidents to the officer. So, it really boils down to the training that we received prior to the COVID-19.
Do you have these, what did you say, dawn and doffing or hot and cold spots at every precinct?
Well, it's really the training, so I'm not so...
No, I mean, like, you got your PPEs, you got to take them off, throw them away, and all that.
Yes, we do. We have the specific N95s, the gloves, the latex, the heavy-duty gloves, the gowns.
Right, they're not reusable, right?
No.
You guys have a good enough supply?
Yes, we do. The command goes into, what we call our burnout rate. So we give them the numbers for our burnout rates and everything, and we, it gets refurbished on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. So, one shift can burn 150 masks within a 3-day span. So, upon assuming shift, they'll replenish and refurbish the respective command with the proper PPEs.
What about testing? Have the officers been tested?
We've had officers been testing since April, so...
you have? Where do you guys go to get tested?
Where the sites are at. So, in accordance with what was, with the first responders, the 9 off, the line agencies.
Do you guys go get tested at National Guard, or where do you guys go get tested?
It varies. It's really the coordination from the command and, of course, the public health administrators and where the influx of the first responders are going to go. So, fire will go to certain sites, customs, the Guam Police Department will go to certain sites. I know they are conducting tests at the Guam National Guard. So, there's various sites in which we've actually been going to get tested. So,
I thought there was, so it's not designated like our first responders go to the National Guard and get tested. It's just wherever.
Yeah, it's through coordination. It really is through coordination and availability of space and everything. But we've actually been continuing testing and stuff. So,
how many officers have been tested?
That one I don't have the numbers to. I don't have the numbers to that. But in line with what has been released with the SIT report from Public Health, and of course.
No, I read the SIT reports, and if in fact that you guys do get tested at the Guam National Guard, it's been blank for a couple of days, as in nobody tested at the National Guard.
Yeah, so it's really, like I said, it's to the coordination of the command. Right. They'll coordinate as to where the test sites will be. So, our officers are also at the test sites providing perimeter security. I believe they're up at the Dedadu area, so they're working alongside with Department of Public Health.
Okay, so you don't have the number of officers that have been tested. Has anybody tested positive?
That one I don't know, but I know our officers are still have been assuming duty and stuff. So, we have officers that are coming out from quarantine because of travel and military. So, they've actually assumed duties. But getting the actual numbers, I don't have the numbers to that.
Mm-hmm. Who can get us the numbers?
I can look for it today. I can work towards that. So,
Sarge, can you tell us about the department's role in at the distribution sites for the food commodities?
That is really something in which our officers really take pride in to assist them in any ways, because when they first started it was really overwhelming, and understanding the need for the food to the community, the dire needs of what people are going through. So we're really providing traffic direction, security, perimeter security, and just maintaining a steady flow. Department of education. They're the main source of distributing the food and everything. So today the line extended from, I believe, the Dedido Flea Market as far back as towards like Tapao. So, this just really showcases exactly the needs for, the services that are being provided to the community.
Sarge, so it's back to business as usual Monday for the government of Guam in the Guam Police Department. What other are all the services that have been closed during the COVID going to be available on Monday?
Yes, we've actually opened up our services when the government opened up in P-Court 2. Mm-hmm. So our records and ID section, there's some requirements that is needed in line with the executive order. Masks, maintaining social distancing. We've actually put up the barriers and everything. Our services bureau with the Armory, people are able to renew their firearms, register their firearms, voting registry and so forth. So it's with the exception of everything post or pre-COVID.
So what's going to be different?
What's going to be different?
Yeah,
probably the wait time, and I'll be honest, everywhere you go, people have to line up, wait, because of the capacity in which the building can actually hold.
Right.
So there's going to be wait time. I think that's going to be that should be the expectation from everybody. That should be the new norm. Expect delays because, we want to maintain the safety of each and every patron, to include our employees, our civilian employees. So, just to minimize the amount of people in the building, we're practicing social distancing, and of course, affording how many people can actually be within the area.
Are you anticipating which of the services are you thinking is going to have the most backlog? Maybe police clearance or?
Probably be the police clearance, because of the expectations of the unemployment rate, and of course, renewing to get the stimulus employment checks and everything. They may ask for these requirements. I'm not too familiar with the Department of Labor, but people are trying to get back on their feet, getting jobs and everything, and one of the things that are required is police and court clearance. Right. So, that's one thing, and of course, the claimants to traffic crashes and everything, people need their vehicles to get out on the road and go back to work, and if they can't do that, their cars are sitting there, they're idle because of damages sustained by a crash. They have to get their traffic reports. So, these are things in which we're preparing for the influx.
When we had the chief of the fire department on the show, when they launched their COVID response units, and just overall the type of disinfecting and sanitizing they have to do of their medics, what sort of protocols do you guys have in place, and how often do you guys sanitize the police cruisers and the units that you guys use? And
yeah, we actually have being assigned to the Central Policing Command. The beautiful thing about the seats, it's you're able to apply the cleansing solution and stuff. So the guys on a daily basis, these guys are when somebody new, we like to use the word foreign. When a foreign body enters into a controlled area, then we go into not disinfecting, but of course sterilizing everything back down to where we take the foreign substance out. So this is how we methodically operate. As something foreign enters, then we have to work back at sterilizing or sanitizing everything that we appear to be foreign. So like what they do in the medics is pretty much is what we do too. When when something foreign comes in and goes out, then we bring it back to its pristine state by sterilizing everything that actually made contact with that, airing it out, and of course disinfecting everything that made contact with that individual.
Sounds pretty thorough, Sarge.
It is. You have to be thorough. You can't let your guard down and everything. So, repetition builds perfection, and of course, we'll be trained to for firearms. We use the terminology: smooth is fast. Right. And fast is smooth, so you got to be smooth at everything that you do, and pay attention to details because this is the new norm and what we do. And it's a common practice that we do at home personally. Right. Nothing foreign enters our house, so everything has to be sterilized prior to entering the home. So it's good practice.
Sarge,
for the officers.
I know before the COVID, you were involved. The department so many different outreach efforts into various communities here where we have, at-risk youth, troubled youth, or just youth in general. And I know all of that had to be put on hold, obviously, because of the COVID. So now that we're kind of going back to normal, I mean, we're still in a state of emergency, but everything seems like we're reopened. Are you going to start doing that kind of stuff again? Because I know you did a lot of great work with the kickball tournaments and other types of outreach. So what's the status on those programs?
It's funny how you're asking that, because I actually had 2-day meetings with our grant writers and everything, and we're actually preparing as if, moving forward past COVID, and we're anticipating being able to, provide some sort of service. We still have to continue the service to the most needed, parts of the community, and hopefully make an impact, help make an impact in their lives and everything. So, we would have to make our adjustments. We will continue to, assess where the services are needed. But, nonetheless, we're going to continue to move forward as if, the arrangements are how we see fit with, we're dealing with COVID, and of course understanding the needs of the community. But, we're going to continue to work with the Department of Education. We continue to work with our community partners with Manialu and Micronesian Resource Center. We're going to continue to work with our Neighborhood Watch program, which has paid dividends throughout the whole isolation and lockdown because of the information that they help, provide to the community. So these are our community efforts in which the Guam Police Department will continue to do, and of course make the adjustments in accordance with the COVID and how we move forward with that.
Right. Well, we've always partnered with the Guam Police Department, so just count us in with what you need.
Especially if it's kickball or any type of strenuous physical activity, be sure to count Brian.
That's great. It was when we were looking back when we were doing the Police Week, the memorial. We were preparing for the Junior Police Cadet Drill and Ceremony for Saturday. Mm-hmm. And that was right after a memorial, and we had over, I think, 400 kids that were gearing to go, and it was really something in which we wanted to showcase and bring forth into the Department of Education,
right,
this service and learning. And it's a very different way of learning, but nonetheless, the kids can gain something from that, and it gives them that positive building blocks as they move forward. So it's a setback, but these obstacles and these conditions will allow us to go forward.
Right, and I want to ask Sarge, because I know that with these outreaches, what you're doing, what the goal is to create these relationships with the youth and the community, to show them that, hey, yeah, we're here for you guys. You can tell us stuff. So, how were you able to maintain those relationships during the COVID, or were you able to?
It's challenging. Because of the whole isolation and the lockdown and stay home and everything. So as the community slowly trickled back out into the community, the residents, they start seeing the familiar faces and everything, and it's assuring when you hear kids, hey, they see through the mask and they recognize the eyes, and right. Just a little appreciation of the kids who remember the officers that came to the schools and who provided this, and moving forward into the summertime, it's really, this is where we would actually ramp up our events and move forward in these activities. But, right. The work is there, the challenge is there, but, slowly working in with the community members coming back out, it's going to be, how we mitigate and how we move forward. But, we're preparing for that. We're preparing for, the start of the school. How do we make the adjustments to summertime? And, of course, providing the service to the community.
Right. Yeah, we're all waiting to hear what's going to be the plan for the upcoming school year. So.
Right. Yeah, everybody is. I myself too. I have kids too. So I'm a bit nervous, leery, and excited at the same time. I have a toddler that's I don't even know how to grasp. For him to go back to daycare.
Right.
We don't even know what's up with daycare, so.
I'm not even sure if I want the kids going to school if they're school. Sarge, it's funny talking about all the school and the kids and stuff. I just was thinking, God, I think it was about 3-4 months ago. We were all up at Untitled, remember? And you guys were at lunch with a cop, and you guys eating with the kids and stuff. I don't know why I just randomly thought about that, but you miss those kind of things, Sarge?
I do, and it was really we had a nostalgic moment when we're writing the grants and we're just preparing everything, and just reminiscing about the number of kids we have actually, we've actually catered to throughout the whole calendar year of 2019. It was phenomenal. It was just like taken back by looking at thousands of kids, working with 400 kids at one time. Playing basketball to the entire, challenging the, going to FB Leon Guerrero and having the entire middle school kids cheering us on. It was really, these are things in which, we were, Guam Police Department's Community Affairs was really working towards the community, right, providing that service. And yeah, Chris, you're right. I do miss it. But, moving forward, once things get better, we'll
do it again.
We'll continue to work with the community.
Yeah. You let us know how we can help. Sarge, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Stay safe, and I know they're allowing people to have gatherings at the beach. Minimize the risk. Know the risks that are going to be associated with these gatherings. Plan accordingly. The beaches are open.
Mm-hmm.
Bathrooms are closed.
Yep. So we'll look forward to that. You guys take care, stay safe, God bless.
You
Stay
too,
safe.
Sarge. Wash your hands.
We'll do, sir. Take care. God bless.
Okay.
And really, if you're not going to the beach and you don't need to go anywhere, just stay home.
Yeah, stay home. We got
Just
a great
stay home.
Stay Home Live Local Fridays for you.
Yeah.
And remember, one of the parts of these advisories that they're putting out is they're advising the elderly